How are you doing?
I'm good. Good to see you, Wendy.
Great to see you. This is Alan Cowgill, you guys. He is a master on raising private funds and getting private lenders to give you their money to do your real estate deals. So we are having Alan on May 18th from 9 to 3, an all-day seminar for you to learn all these techniques that will give you more money for your deals at cheaper rates. So Alan, thank you for being here again this year.
Yeah, it rocked last year. I loved it. And I'll tell you what, I've been told minute for minute, I deliver more information than anybody out there. So folks get a lot of training.
Yeah, they absolutely loved it. Our members really raved and asked me to bring you back again. So here we are. We set the date, guys. You do not want to miss this. Alan will sell out. You know, our one-day events typically do sell out. They're going to be very, very full, especially this topic, because there are so many people doing deals right now. And I'm a hard money lender, Alan, right? They're paying me
Yep.
big bucks to borrow my money when they could be finding these other private lenders that will lend to them a lot cheaper. I mean, I don't want to cut off my own business supply, but believe me, I have enough of it, right? But this is something that will help our members to do more profitable deals.
That's right. That's right. You know, there's only four parts of a real estate deal at the top level. Number one is you got to find property that makes sense. Number two is what we're talking about, Wendy, is the funding. Okay. And I consider that to be the most important part right there. And then the third item is to rehab, update the property. And then the fourth item is obviously keep it or sell it. So if you can't get by the second item, you're dead in this business. And so many people don't understand private money, and that's why you're doing this, where you're trying to get the word out so folks can do what I do, okay? Get tons of money. In fact, I'm going to talk about how I had so much money I couldn't spend it all.
Wow. Okay, great. Well, let's talk about how did you get started, first of all?
Well, I was out in the corporate world. I got a quarter century in corporate America, and all I wanted to do was climb that corporate ladder. And I was successful. I did acquisitions in Europe. I did some plant closings and moved them. Um, I headed up five multi-million dollar multi-state programs that helped the company, and each one of them were very, very successful. But in my personal life, it wasn't that way. Um, I was living paycheck to paycheck like so many people do. And one of the triggers that happened to me was my aunt and uncle retired at poverty level. I saw after they worked in corporate America all their life. And I thought, you know, that took me back. I thought that could be what happens to me. But I didn't know what to do at that point in time. Um, what I was living with was an old beat up car, and I had a first date. And at the end of the date, I pulled up in front of the apartment complex and then walked this lady, started to walk her up to the door, and I heard something. I turned around and looked, and my car had burst into flames.
Oh no.
Yeah,
I've
but
never heard that.
yeah, you know, more. When I speak
A
it,
little embarrassing.
yeah, when I speak it, man, somebody will yell out, "Yeah, hot date." You know, it's more like first and last date. How embarrassing! You know, here's this successful manager, and he can't even afford a crummy card. And
Oh,
so,
gosh.
yeah, so it really took me back, and I looked into franchises, but they take money. I didn't have the money, and I did decide to invest though. I took my whole federal tax return that year and plunked it down on lottery tickets. Lost on every ticket, got me
Okay.
frustrated. And what happened then was I woke up 2 o'clock in the morning because I was worried about paying my bills. And I went out and I started to channel surf. And I hit one of these real estate infomercials and I watched it. And I thought, you know, maybe this is the answer to my situation. And I picked up the phone and I ordered that home study system, and I became enthralled with real estate. And that year I bought my first two properties, the next year five, the next year 18. I've done hundreds of deals since that point in time.
Wow.
All along the way, after I got started and borrowing money from, you know, banks and stuff like that, I learned about this private lending stuff, and changed my life. Changed my life.
So private lending is really your specialty, right? That you teach and share with other people how to get
Yeah,
them.
yeah. What I do is what I've learned is a system where I attract, convert, and manage private money lenders. Okay, and also what happened and what sets me apart is that I wanted to make sure that there wasn't any rules out there that I was violating. And so I had actually been to a boot camp, and I heard a speaker talk about private money. And so I went to the back of the room when he was done talking, and I asked him about it. And he said, it's the Wild West. You can do whatever you want. And that I
Right.
found out wasn't true. What I did was I came back and I actually hired an attorney from Michigan
Oh,
and
really?
Ohio, yeah. And I asked him to research my state, and he came back and he said, yeah, there's some rules, but they aren't tough. You just got to follow the rules.
Yeah.
And so I hired him to do every single state in Canada. And you can imagine what that cost.
A
But
lot of money.
yeah, but I felt I had a moral obligation to my students to give
Yeah.
them the facts. In fact, along the
Yeah.
way, I realized that what I teach is kind of like a sporting event, where you have the fundamentals, like in any sporting event, but you've also got a rule book.
Yeah.
And so I see so many other people out there that are trying to do stuff like private money, and they don't have the rule book. But
Yeah.
I hired the attorney, and I got the rule book on this. And so the rules, like I said, aren't tough, but you need to know what they are so you don't stub your toe.
Yeah, because if you violate them, it could be big issues. So, I mean, meaning like there's certain things you can't advertise or promote, or the way you do it, the words you use. And are those some of the things you're going to be teaching Saturday?
I will. I'll
Yeah.
teach those in the afternoon.
Yeah.
Yeah, and that's one of the big ahas for folks
Yeah.
uh, where they get that training. Yeah,
Yeah.
I wouldn't want to leave your room and not teach the rules. You
Yeah,
know.
because you don't, you guys, this is so crucial because I do see people posting things in social media that I'm like, oh my gosh, you
Yeah,
can't post that, you
yeah,
can't say it that way. You can't, it could be very big trouble for you
yeah.
legally.
They just don't know what they don't know.
Yeah,
Yeah,
exactly. So those are the kind of things you're going to want to learn about how to raise private money, the legal way and the right way, so you don't get yourself in trouble. So that'll
yep,
be a great thing.
yep.
What kind of deals can you use private money for, Alan? Talk about that.
Well, this might surprise you. There's a lot of reasons. When I teach in California, I have movie producers in the room. Obviously, commercial and residential deals. You can buy notes. You can be a hard money lender like you are, you know,
Yeah.
because you got, in fact, I was up in Minnesota. I had a guy get up on the stage, one of my students, and he had raised $7 million using my technique, and 215 folks in the room, and it just resonated with so many folks. So there's just a lot of different. In fact, actually, this will seem kind of odd, but credit card companies, have people that don't pay, and then they take that money, where they're not getting paid, and they sell it, and they have pennies on the dollars. And I've had students go out and use private money to do that. Now, I wouldn't do that because that's unsecured money.
Yeah,
Okay.
right.
So that's what I like about doing real estate is you secure it with property. So that is it's just a myriad. Once you start looking at this, you can buy your own house with private money. I
Right.
mean,
And sometimes cheaper than you can get it from the bank right now, right?
exactly. So
Yeah,
there's just a myriad of things. What I like to do though is focus on commercial and residential real estate. So
right.
but there's a lot of different avenues out there for folks if they want to do that. Yeah.
Absolutely. So give me just a couple tips of where you find your private lenders from.
Well, I like my for my students to work with people that they know, and I call it family, friends, and associates. Okay,
Yeah,
associate would be your kid's school teacher or something like that. So family, friends, and associates. With strangers, you gotta follow some rules.
yeah,
Okay, like you and I talked about before.
yes,
So they're
yes.
simple. You
It's
just need
more
to,
rules with that. Yeah,
yeah, and I'll cover that out there. Um, and then I started out with bank CDs. My first lender was my mom, and I started out with her bank CD, and then I moved on to IRA, self-directed IRAs, and so just kept building on that. And one day in August one year, I woke up and I had so much money, I couldn't spend it all. There was a new technique that I had created and I got shocked. And I couldn't spend all the money, so I hired a guy. I hired a guy to help buy houses for me. And from mid-September to Christmas, he bought 21 houses for me. And then from New Year's to August, Boston bought another 48 properties with the money coming in. And so I had 69 properties in less than a year.
Wow.
Yeah,
Wow.
it just exploded. So, and I'm going to cover all that when I get out there and talk to your folks.
Yeah. Yeah. Oh my gosh. Well, that's going to be incredible. So it's May 18th, 9 to 3. It's going to be at the MSU Center in Troy, guys. There's a link that you can register if you're seeing this on Facebook or if it's on an email. There will be a link where you can register. Make sure you do get registered. You can walk in and take a risk that there's going to be an available seat. But I would highly recommend you pre-register. Our last event was standing room only. The last couple actually were standing room only. So make sure you get into this because this is a very big key issue for investors, right? Is finding that private money. Now, I'm like you, Alan. You know, initially I found a lot of, well, I had some private lender, I had some hard money lenders over the years, but primarily, guys, I used private money and I did it the way Alan talks about, and he's going to teach you how to do that because that will save you almost 50% or more than 50%, really, on your interest expense for these deals. And that's a big deal. That all goes into your pocket. So you're not going to want to miss this. Make sure you get registered right away. And Alan, we're looking forward to having you come.
Thank you. I'm looking forward to it too. And I've used hard money lenders too in the past. And the thing about hard money lenders, as you know, is they set the rules. With private money, my students get to set the rules. And that is a big difference. Okay. So I appreciate you having me come. I'm really looking forward to it. It's always a great event when you have an event. I'll tell you, that's great.
Yeah, it's going to be awesome. You guys get registered right away. Alan's going to teach you so much about, you know, and I'm sure, okay, I'm going to ask you one more thing or kind of throw this in there. You're probably also going to talk about how you move from being the borrower to sometimes you can be the lender.
You can. Yeah, that's for sure. Yeah. Yeah. We can get into that too.
Yes, which is what I did, you know, and a lot of people do. They migrate from, you know, doing a lot of the flips themselves to later having enough cash from all those deals over the years that now they become the lender and lend to other people that are starting out and getting into the real estate business. So you're going to definitely want to hear what Alan has to say to learn how to do all of that.
Yep. Minute for minute, I deliver a ton of information. So
yeah.
show up.
Yeah. And be on time. You're right, because you're not going to want to miss any bit of it. So
right. That's right.
Great. Well, get registered May 18th, and we will see you soon, Alan. Thank you for coming to Michigan.
Oh, I'm looking forward to it. Everybody, you need to show up. Take care.
Okay. Bye-bye.